Alright, let's see. Hopefully this... I don't know if this will fix anything. I've never had this problem. Or at least that I've been aware of. Yo, they came straight into the take profit area and I fucking missed it. I was doing this shit. It came like 1 point away. Yeah, like about 2 points away from the take profit. Okay. What's up, fam? What's up, man? Fixed. All right, Jim. Thanks. Yo, bro, it came close. I was over here distracted doing the shit, and fixed. Awesome. I guess the stream. I guess maybe it was an OBS thing because I started the stream a little different this time. I don't know if that had any... What? No, bro. Why would it be? No. What time did you take your long last night? I took a couple entries at the long last night at the 67. Hey, the kids, my son would be happy to hear that right now. 67. So at 66. Thanks, appreciate it, FH. You saved the stream, bro. You saved the day, FH. I appreciate you saying something. Yeah, I had no idea. I'm over here, you know, just thinking. It was good. Potentially, we'll see. I mean, I'm happy with just scaling these next few lots here above VWAP or into VWAP, and then seeing what happens after. But overall, I don't think I'm gonna get rewarded. They keep rejecting this bastard. Right at the VWAP. This is what like the NQ did yesterday all afternoon. It traded into VWAP and just never was able to get above it. All last night, all yesterday afternoon. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I think we might be in for a surprise today, in my opinion. Like, I think that there might be a scenario where the Mag 7 come in and get a bid. They haven't been bid this whole move, so they're a little underweight, but we'll see. Amazon was getting a bid, now it's not. I was looking at a few of the Mag 7 off the open, and given that they had not gapped down very much, like they had not gapped down during this big gap down we had here, my assumption is that was a tell, but we'll see. Because Apple had been selling off and it was green at the open. Amazon did not gap down and recovered all the gap and opened flat, and then Meta's flat. So what is it? We're gapped down on the S&P like 3/4, 0.75%. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, we're down 0.6. We have a poor high in the 3-day range? No way. And we just made an excess low. I mean, not an excess low, but we don't have a poor low anymore on the weekly profile. So we'll see if that means anything. So yeah, the long at 3... The long idea at 7366, it was because there was a failed breakdown overnight. Let me actually go into that. So right here, there was a failed breakdown. Let me draw it out. That happened last night. Or right here, there's a cluster of lows that was bouncing. And then we recovered. And it lined up with a level I had annotated here. A 4-hour low from 6/11, from June 11th. There was a 4-hour low there, so the combination of the failed breakdown on the small structure there, plus the failed breakdown. I forgot what I said. The 4-hour low plus that failed breakdown is what got me long for a back test of the of some of the levels we had broken down because we had sold off parabolically. That was the target idea was very simple because we had broken down without retesting any structure on the way down. That made it really simple for me to want to target. What area to target? We'll target here and see if they get me at 89. Right at VWAP. But they rejected VWAP again. It's fine. Mr. Dave, yo, I saw your sub this morning, man. I appreciate it. Subscribe to your Substack. Just want to say value you provide. Hey, man, thanks. How'd you find me? Did you find me on Substack or on YouTube? YouTube? Huh. Oh, my mom says it sometimes. YouTube. Hey, cool, man. Love your education of it's cool. Well, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Where are you from? Are you from the area? From the US? I feel a lot of traders are not. Lord, forgive me, 'cause I don't understand. Sometimes I wanna be alone. Rick, do you ever use the MBO on your Sierra? I don't. How do you activate that? How do you do that? I don't. I wish I could. I don't know how to put it on. I try to figure it out. I see, like, as tech savvy I can be sometimes. In some instances, I know jack. I don't know shit. Yeah, send me a message if you can. That'd be great. I mean, you don't have to tell me too much. You can just send me like a brief, like, hey, just search up this or that. I can figure out the rest. But I have the MBO data, but I don't use it on the DOM. And I was trying to figure out how to for a little while. When I figured out the large bubble indicator, it was that same time I was trying to figure out. I'm gonna scale some more here at the priority low. I still have a huge position. No, I don't. What? I had 8 lots. What happened? I only have 2 lots. That's sad. I thought I had more. So if we can hold above this structure right here, that 411, 410, 411, 415 area, that is where I will add to this trade. What was I saying? Shit. As they approach those GEX levels, the MBOs go crazy. Well, no way. Hey, man, that's good stuff. Well, I can't wait to see it. I can't wait. And VWAP? Okay. So interesting. Yeah, I try to figure it out, but unfortunately, I think if I just committed a little more time to it, I could have maybe figured it out. But unfortunately, I just kind of threw in the towel. I started doing other stuff. But I appreciate... Oh, you sent the DM already. All right. Oh, very good. You gave a freaking detailed answer here. Let's go. Okay, I'll check it out in a few. Configuration, customize down columns, bid ask, MBO. Click OK, disconnect, reconnect. All right, cool. So I kind of got the gist of it. I'll definitely be checking out on a few. I appreciate it. So yeah, the 66s, brother. See if this holds. It's gotta hold at this cluster, right? This range for me to want to engage again. This is gonna be similar to yesterday. So yesterday, you know, we got along like 400s, and then it went to 450s, and then at that point, I was like, okay, if it holds 450s, I will add. And then same thing here. Like we're long from 367. And then I scaled. I added more pre-market into the open here too at 380s and 378 or something like that. I added a couple more lots. So, and then I scaled again at VWAP and then at 405. If, again, the big thing is if we hold now, similar to yesterday. The process is the same shit. You think about what I'm doing yesterday and what I'm doing today. The only difference is the same. It's different levels. So if we can hold above 411 right here, like we're pushing really hard. If we can hold 411, 415 for a period of time, I will certainly be adding more to this trade. But I'm going to let it show me that it wants to hold above that. Capiche? Because this can fail here. This is more of a back test than anything right now. Mag 7's green, so I don't know. Let's see which ones are green. I gotta look on my phone. Cause I guess I can do it on my computer. Easier. It's already here. Return the favor for the big trades clutch you give me. Oh, hey man, let's go. I'm glad that I come in some use here, or some help. Try slow, homie. 19. So metas, yeah, Amazon's reclaiming. It's up 0.5%. Apple is up 3/4, or sorry, 1/3. Google was red. I'm not even looking at Google because that one doesn't look like it can recover. Where's MSFT? Microsoft's up 2 1/3. So I'm telling you, like, the Mag 7 is gonna save this market. Here's my assumption here, okay? I kind of like I got into, like, I got my tinfoil hat on yesterday, right? I got my tinfoil hat last night, and I was like, what's happening? What is the market doing? Why are they doing this? But it seems like overall, there's a lot of leverage that's being unwound over the course of the last few weeks. So I would say 2 to 3 weeks, give or take. I don't know exactly when to pinpoint it, but ever since the volatility in South Korea started, the Nasdaq has been underperforming massively. Of course, that's because of chips, and the Mag 7 has been underperforming before that. So there's a lot of net selling going on because of that. I think a lot of margin calls in South Korea. I mean, there's a lot of volatility going on there. And some of it at the Japan recently too. I think they had a 4% down day on the Nikkei. I think SoftBank was down 11% yesterday too. There's a lot of like volatile moves to the downside that are fueling, I think, a lot of margin call sells, and that's affecting the US markets because we're all interconnected. Got margin calls in South Korea having to sell their stock in the US. And this is exactly what happened 2 years ago when the yen carry trade unwound. We had a lot of net selling in a lot of the assets in the United States. Now, there was more volatile at the time. It wasn't as contained as this is. But the tailwind here is that the Mag 7 have been left behind on this whole rally that we've had recently. Microsoft is one of those that's severely undervalued from a valuation standpoint. I've seen multiple charts on their PE ratio, historical PE being so low. Some of that may be sentiment on software, but nonetheless, like, and then Amazon has a low PE. Google has been trending, so we can't speak on that one. I'm not even looking at it. It's been a preferred one. And then Apple has been trending as well. It's been strong throughout this whole rally. So I think they're going to bid some of the Mag 7 and then rotate out of chips. And we all know when that Mag 7 starts to trend, you really can't do much besides go up. Oh, Meta's the other one. Meta's severely, not severely undervalued, but pretty low historical PE ratio as well. So I think they're going to bid Amazon, Meta, and Microsoft. Bidding those three and just letting everything else chill out will bring us higher. You just need to stop all of the margin selling, all the margin call selling pressure we've had. Because if you really look at every single day that we've been selling off, there is demand. We bounce so much before we sell off. Look at all this over here. Let's open a bigger time frame chart. Look at the way we've been selling off. Like this structures, like there is demand clearly. Right here, boom, 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 multiple bounces, and they're not just small. And you know, like it just takes one of these structural reclaims, ideally today, here, now, to get this thing fucking flying. This reminds me of a lot of the yen carry unwind we had 2 years ago. This kind of positioning and trading. It was very similar. The only thing is it wasn't as volatile. To this time around is not as volatile. So if you were trading 2 years ago in August, I think it was like middle to late August, this is very identical to that. That's Rick's market memory. He's been around for a while. Man. So we'll see. I want to see if this can, it's holding above. It's pushing pretty well. Let me see. Microsoft's up 3% now. So it went up another 3/4. Meta is up 3/4. Amazon is up 1%. What did I say? What did I say? They're gonna bid these suckers. They're up 1%. Those are the three I'm watching, right? Meta, Microsoft, and fucking Amazon. Rick, how you know, fool? I've seen this before. I've seen this before. I said this right off the open in the Substack chat. I said I think they're gonna bid this Max 7 today and get this green. You know what the great thing is? All it took was one question from my wife. And I kind of figured this out. I wouldn't say I figured anything out, but I came to this conclusion. She just asked me one question. Everything clicked. The only problem is that I did not buy enough. Had I had this conviction that I was talking about this morning. So I will probably wait until the IB is set before I add anything here. Okay, I'll wait for the IB. Give this some time to show that it wants to hold. If it continues to rally past my whatever and I don't get to add, that's fine. You know, no problem. But my main thing here is patience when adding. I gotta see a retest of the breakaway. Yeah, Amazon's now up 1 1/4, bro. 1 1/4. Meta's up 3/4. Like a poker chess player. I don't know what strategy I never played poker, bro. Believe it or not. Chess, yes, but I'm not very good at it. And but thanks. Amazon, Google. Yeah, look at fucking, they're all ripping, bro. I like your mag analysis. Yeah, if you remember back in 20, Do you remember I mean, this is a couple years ago. Back in April 2024, when we had that massive sell-off, I had a huge call where I said the bottom was in April. And I kept posting it week over week on how the Mag 7 and the semiconductors had put in a massive monthly failed breakdown, and I kept posting the bears crying. That was near the low of that. That was the low of that sell-off we had during that tariff stuff. It was very similar setup here, where like they started to bid, but in this situation, it was like they bid both sectors in tandem. The Mag 7 and semiconductors. But it was a massive failed breakdown on a monthly basis, and I kept posting the chart over and over of the setup and then the bears crying. It's kind of similar to that, but in a smaller time frame today. And then it happened again 2 years ago. No, when was no? It wasn't. It was longer than that. The yen carry trade, when did that happen? That was not 2 years ago. Is time flying by or what? Yen carry trade unwind 2024, or was no, it was 2 years ago. Then when was that? I already forgetting. I know the month it was. I just don't remember the year. Wait, I had gone to Thailand that year, so it was 2024. Yeah, it was 2024, so 2 years ago. And then the other one was last year, the one that happened. Pop out, made up, it looks sexy. Let me tell you on my element. No, take me on my element. And yeah, Meta's up 1% now. Amazon's 1.25. That was kind of the same price. But yeah, dude, the 3 ones that I said, like, those are the 3 they'll bid. Where is Google? Is it still red? Yeah, see, Google, I didn't even look at it. I knew it would stay red. Apple is going through some shit, so I didn't really want to look at it because it's going through that memory crunch issue they were going through. So I knew the primary ones, the ones that were more undervalued, would be the ones that are going to be most favored, which is Meta, Amazon, and Microsoft. Yeah, so the Max 7, specifically Meta, Amazon, Google, not Google, what the fuck? Microsoft, they're all PE historically at low valuations. They've been left behind during the semiconductor most recent rally. And they were going to rotate into them. It's a pretty long fucking thesis. I don't know if I can write it all out. They've been left behind during this margin unwind with South Korea. They've been left behind during this entire move up. My assumption is they would bid them on any chance they could when they could rotate out of those semis and back into the Mag 7. Specifically those 3. The fact that the market gap down 0.6 and the Mag 7, or specifically those 3, opened flat was a huge tell for me. The counter auctions have been insane. I mean, you look at Monday's gap down, fucking failed breakdown of the overnight low was massive. What was it, like, I think like a 70-point move? Let me see. I think the low was 420, and then it went up to 80, 60 point move. Depending from where you measure, it was 60-point move, let's just say. And that's where VWAP was, like, at the 80s. So yeah, man, we're in a bull market. I mean, it's just, there's just no reason to short. I think I've come to this conclusion that there's just no reason to short. There's just no reason to short. I think in any case, like, the more I've learned as well as about the whole dealer exposure and gamma exposure, the market is made to get bid every single time. The VIX goes up, market makers have to hedge by buying the fucking asset to offset the VIX calls. So what does that mean? VIX goes up, they have to hedge their flows and hedge their positioning. When the VIX is going up, they have to buy the underlying to devalue the VIX calls. So anytime there's hedging, there's buying pressure on the other side of that by market makers. So even when there is selling pressure, there is buying pressure on under the hood that has to offset all that that selling pressure as it relates to options. I stopped myself commenting on that. Yeah, I mean, it's fine, dude. You know, everyone has their opinion on the internet, and it's cool, you know. It's cool. I appreciate it. I don't really care. You know, everyone's right in their own time frame sometimes, you know. The thing I hate that's very difficult with online commentary is that, like, when someone says it's crashing, it's hard to know if they don't give context. Do they mean 100 points? Do they mean a 10% correction? Do they mean a 20% correction? Because they never give the context. They just say it's crashing, and then there's no really way to know whether they mean a small pullback or like sell everything. The shit is going to shit. I didn't like it. Yeah, he did. I don't either, but the internet's full of it. So I don't disagree. I know. I kind of stopped commenting on it, but I will continue to post my bears crying pictures. Yeah, there was a guy once, I forget his name. I think it's Credit Strategist. He posts a bunch of bearish stuff all the time. That's all he posts, actually. And the thing I don't like I'm all for sharing like data that is showing something that's important that market's overlooking. But when you layer that data, the subjective data, with an opinion like sell everything before it's too late, you have a lot of people who don't draw their own conclusions or have a rough understanding of what they're invested in, and they get subject to selling their stock or being paranoid about their stock or their investments when they read stuff like that. The implications that guy has on people's portfolios is what I don't like. Because there's people who don't know, you know, like they're investing the first time, or maybe they're fearful, and they read stuff like that, and it just makes them now it's their fault at the end of the day, the person making the decision, but it doesn't help. Because historically the bears are just wrong. Like, the market just keeps going up. There's no reason to sell. As it relates to your portfolio, it's just never been, there's never been an instance where it has not recovered and been a buying opportunity. I've seen too much regret of people selling, and I just find it frustrating when people post stuff like that, you know. Sell everything before it's too late. Yeah, I remember that. And specifically the loudest people during COVID, and it was like the worst time to be saying that. I took profits when they went inside. I don't know if they're gonna give me the ability to add, man. This is just keeps going. Look at this. Just broke another high. I did not expect that. Holy cow. The hell? Well, at least I know for sure, like, even if they don't test this area today, I know for sure that is an area of interest going forward. Okay? That means come tomorrow or Monday, come Tuesday, come Wednesday, I know that's a reference point for myself that where I want to be long on any dips. I know for sure that's going to be an area. This area right here, 11 through 15. So it'll be a reference for me later. Yeah, like Amazon, Meta's up 1.5. Microsoft is up 3.5 and went up more. Jeez. Amazon 1.67, almost 2%. Why don't I just buy calls on the damn thing today? That's the problem. I could have just bought some short dated. Well, today's Friday. That would have been perfect. I fucked up, guys. These kind of trading days, they don't come that often. I mean, in the sense of the amount of conviction I had going into today's open. The amount of conviction I had, most days I'm pretty modest and I'm like, I have no fucking clue where it's going. Like, I just waiting for this level to reclaim and then I'll take profit. You know, and I'll see what happens. Today was one of those days where I was pressed on the idea that it would go higher. How much time it would take, I had no idea. I didn't know. This is what I was thinking this week. Oof. Just place an option against overnight auction. Let the magic happen. You know, it's funny. You're not wrong. I mean, look. Let me take a look at. I have a report here. Yeah, you're not wrong, dude. The overnight inventory. Here's the overnight inventory. Essentially how the overnight action has occurred. Red, 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 and then today, obviously. And I'm sure if I go back to each one of these are all different days of the week. See, it tells me which day it is. This is June 8th, June 10th, June 16th, June 19, June 22, June 23rd, and then today, June 26th. If we go back to any of those days, I'm sure you're right. You're completely right about that. What was Monday? 22nd? Yeah, June 22nd. I feel like there's people on the stream, like in the beginning, people were, you know, commenting on how the stream wasn't working, but none of them really comment after, I'm sure. I sometimes wonder if they're bots. Just trying to keep me in here. Just like, keep going, Rick. Someday. 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 I'll set an alert in case this dips down here below. Some days. Not a bot. Yeah, nah, I guess price action is a bit boring right now. Yeah, I mean, it's just trending, you know? Just trending. Not a bot. Are you guys even real? You guys are gonna have to validate yourselves. Talking about bears, my favorite indicator is a Discord where I'm in, where I tend to buy when people start predicting huge breakdowns. Oh man, that's hilarious. One of the only people on the internet that actually doesn't hide behind a fake name. Nah, man, like, I'm me. I'm Rick. I'll tell you where I live. I'm just here to learn. That's hilarious though. Yeah, the whole, I mean, I get that. What's that mean? Haha. The Discord, so that's hilarious. You know, I mean, it's true though, like the crowd and like stuff like that, like social analysis, like being contrarian to them, the social kind of lean, I don't know what to call it right now, I'm not lack for words, but being contrarian against it is definitely, so it definitely works. People just warn you against. Yeah, that's the thing I don't understand. So people are just horny for huge crashes. It is true. Why though? Like, why are people so, like, they want to be the next Michael Burry or something? Like, they want to say, I shorted this thing and it went down 20% or 30% and everyone lost their fucking shirts when I made money. Like, that's just sad. I don't get that frame of mind. I don't know what's so cool about that. Or why people are so, like, quote unquote, like you said, horny for it. Like, the stock like SNDK and Micron, like, they go up fucking 1000%, and then people are looking for a 50% crash. Like, what? That makes, the math makes no sense. The math makes no sense. Make 50% or make 1000%. Like, the most you can make if a stock crashes is 50% or whatever, you know, somewhere along those lines. 100% if it goes to zero, but that doesn't happen. Rarely. Or you can make 1000% on a stock, or 400%, or even 200%, whatever. The math makes no sense. It seems like it's more of a pride or ego thing that they put more emphasis on for the whole short thing. They want recognition. I think so, dude. I think that's part of it, or maybe a huge part of it. Yeah, they just enjoy thinking about all the people losing money, I guess. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Like, I can't comprehend it. Yeah, I don't. Crashes happen, right? Like, we had one last year, but it's never fun for anyone. I mean, to be fair, I do have a portfolio, so I have exposure to downturns. So, you know, I also do not want that as well. But, you know. Anyways, I buy their predictions. That's fun. What Discord is this? I want the indicator. That's hilarious. I feel like if it's a pretty big Discord, it probably helps. You know, there's more mass, more data to collect there. The IB is about to be set here in 1 minute or a few seconds. The next natural target for me would be the IBH on an ad. So the only thing I need is just a dip. ES traders are just better waiting for pullback. Yeah. Wait for pullback. It's that simple. Unfortunately, it is. It is. Don't break the... That's actually like 10 people in it, but 3 are constantly wrong. You just have their @ symbol at notifications to see if they're gonna be talking about crash. Oh man. It's hilarious. It is hilarious. I'm so close to feeling. I'm just walking without feeling. Getting a bunch of notifications that a bunch of stocks are up 5%. Netflix, I got one that's up 5%. I don't even look at Netflix anymore. Holy cow, why is it up so much? Jeez. This chart is insane. What they do? Are they gonna start offering Ozempic as part of a subscription for Netflix and chill? What the hell happened? This just in, Netflix subscriptions will now include a 6 months supply of Ozempic. Have it with your popcorn and chill. Let's see. And then I got another one for Spotify as well. Seems like software in general might be bouncing here. Let's see, where's ServiceNow doing? Yeah, ServiceNow is up 7%. Where's IGV? 2.7? Yeah, software's getting a bid today. Where's Adobe at? I think it's been trash. 3%. CRM, 4%. Yeah, so big rally on software for sure. Software and Max 7. That's really fueled this rally. We're getting a little bit about... Again, I want to see it come down here at about 15s. See if we can get a bid down there. Meta still keeps climbing. Amazon 1.8, still a little higher too. What else? NU? Oh, NU Bank getting a bit. Why are there, dude? There's some things that are just flying today. The margin calls end. See, my assumption is like all the South Koreans that got margin called, like a big portfolio, people with big money in South Korea. I think they got margin called, and now that those margin calls are kind of over, and the selling pressure is essentially dissipating, like going away. And this is causing a big pop in a lot of names. The selling pressure is going away here, because there's just so many names that are up, just more than their normal range. There's a Dow, Microsoft, Amazon, Johnson & Johnson. Like, yeah, you even have Johnson & Johnson up 3.3%. That's not a normal move. Eli Lilly's up 5%. Where's Uber? I have a question. So, let's see. We have some people. Do you guys use Uber or any other driving service for like when you take a taxi? 7%. Palantir's even up. What a rapper today. I hope they understand that I really understand that. They don't understand. I'm Dutch, I bike. That's fucking awesome. I love that. Where are you from, by the way? Are you from there? Or Uber is cheap as hell over here? No way. I feel like it's fucking overpriced here. Is there any other service like Lyft or a different one? Amsterdam, grew up here? No way. How cool, man. How do you like it? I've never been there. Our black cabs are overpriced? No way. I've never took a cab. So like, I've never taken an actual cab. As an adult, I've never called a cab. I've been in a taxi, you know, my parents and stuff when I was younger, but I've never called a cab in my life. Crazy. See if we can get down 10 more points. I've had many a time at 6 in the morning. Oh wow. Yeah, because I've been to a few countries. Like Hong Kong is big on Uber. They also, but then they also use a couple other services in Hong Kong. And then also in Thailand they use Grab, which is a huge one in Asia, I assume. Mexico, they use Didi. They don't like Uber too much. So I'm just trying to see the moat here, like for Uber around the world. Even me here in the US, I don't like to use Uber. I don't like Uber. So when people like Uber, the investment, like I just don't see the appeal. I don't even like the product. I've had bad experiences with Uber. Can highly recommend. Very chilled city with a lot of green areas, nice parks. No way. First choice? Wow. Is big? No way. A lot of, so there you go. In Amsterdam they use it. In the UK they use it. Okay. Here they use it too a lot. You know, I will say, I just don't find myself liking the product. I had terrible experiences with Uber. Great restaurants as well, and probably not too expensive compared to US. Howdy, welcome, dude. Or welcome back. Well, cool. Good feedback here. Alright, here we go, pulling back into this area. We'll kind of monitor the situation and see if we can get a decent retest of the 11s. The most ideal scenario would be if they can actually probe into the area. Something like that, like into the 08 area. But we'll see. The UAE says early warning on missile was a technical malfunction. We just needed a quick dip in the market to buy. Some pounds and above, main metaphor to my life, main. More than I roll, not pills, but the merry dough. Wait, can I not stay? You know, sometimes when I think about like looking at myself like outside in, because I'm sitting here at my desk but someone was watching me. It's such a weird concept to be sitting here at a desk talking to people all over the world on a mic, and you guys are watching me but I can't see you. And you guys are like different parts of the world. And I say this because when I was younger, when I was in high school, I played video games in my PlayStation. I had a headset like on this side. And my grandma would come into my room and she would see me playing video games and talking, like having a conversation. And she told my mom, I think he's going crazy. He's talking to himself while playing the game. I think the games are making him crazy. She had no idea that you could talk to people on the internet while you play your video game. So she thought I was having conversations with myself while I'm playing this game. So from that perspective, I'm kind of seeing myself from like someone standing at the door right here and thinking, man, this guy's weird. Who's he talking to? I'm not camera material. You're beautiful. I mean, you're beautiful. I mean, maybe he is. Yeah, maybe he is, man. Don't say that. You know, when I was younger, I worked at I'm not sure if you guys know what In-N-Out is. Like a burger place here in California. And I would be on the drive-thru taking orders. You can't see me, obviously. And I used to, because I used to do like a really pretty decent, like, I'm gonna bid some here. The tricky part about this is, no, like, for me, it's a little hard. I put a bid here, but the tricky part is like, VWAP's so far away. I like to put my stop below the VWAP. We're just so far away from it. I don't know. The risk reward, that kind of does not make sense here. I almost feel like I need to wait a little longer for this to kind of balance out before initiating anything, and for VWAP to catch up to price. I might have just shot myself in the foot here on this ad. We'll see. But I liked it that it's tapping the value low and bouncing, getting an immediate reaction, which is why I bid, right? We hit this area and we got a little bit of a reaction right there. So I bid a couple lots, not too much, just two. I would like to add more, but I'll have to wait and see if they're going to be really holding this. The reason I don't add more as well is because, again, VWAP, my stop loss, the placement is just so far away to make the risk reward ratio make sense here on the ad. But I used to do a pretty funny, very proper robotic, like AI sounding voice when I take orders on the drive-thru. And this guy was like, "Oh, you're real. Like, you sounded so professional, so good." And I was like, "Oh, dude, just wait till you see me. I have a face. They say I have a face for radio." I forgot who said that comment, and it was hilarious, and I just kept using it. I just found it like a good icebreaker. I do hope you have a social life next to this stream, Rick. I do. I do. Not too many people. I don't have, actually, I do. I have a couple friends, but not too much outside of that. To be honest, I just have my wife, my son, my siblings, my mom and dad, and then a couple friends. Like, only like two, I would say. So not much. That's Hethy, same. Oh, okay. So I thought I was the abnormal one. Quality over quantity. Love it. Yeah, well, you know what? I love my family, man. And I'm glad you guys too. I don't really desire having too many friends, you know? Like, I like having good friends, not a lot of friends. If that makes sense. I do have a life outside of the stream, so definitely, like, thankfully we have a lot of things we do. Go swimming, go camping. We just went camping a couple weeks ago. Just flew a kite recently. I think like a month ago. It had been like a decade, maybe more. We flew a kite with my son. He had never flown a kite. That was fun. We went to a museum. My son loves airplanes, so we went to a museum, airplane museum. Which reminds me, we have to go back, because he wants to do the virtual flight thing, flight simulator. Makes total sense. We went to a winery recently for Father's Day. I actually do a lot of stuff. I do social stuff outside of this stream thing. But I gotta give credit to my wife. If it wasn't for my wife, I don't think I would plan a lot of this stuff. She does a great job. NQ is a little closer to the VWAP than the S&P is. I might be watching that one a little closer for a structure intraday here on this little bid that I got. I want to see how the NQ reacts as it approaches or hits VWAP. If it does not hold, that would be a concern. Right, I want to see a kind of either probe a little before underneath, but still maintain VWAP on any pullbacks. Because otherwise, I can assume it would come back to that PDL at on the Nasdaq at 295. What was the fill? I forgot to talk about this. It's 30 degrees 7 out here doing some watermelon with friends. Let's go. Take a swim. Enjoy, man. Hey, enjoy. Thanks for supporting the Substack, and I'll see you hopefully on another stream, brother. Let's see. Blue Angels. Let's see. There's an airplane. I don't know if it's that one. So during what the one was it? This was this year. We had an event here. Memorial Day? On Memorial Day. They had a plane performance because of the airplane museum here in Palm Springs. I don't remember the planes they were, but they were military planes that they have. That they're military planes that are not decommissioned, but they preserved, and they went and flew over. Oh, he was fascinated. In Scala, so this is the home of naval. Oh, no way. So we have an airplane museum here in Palm Springs in California. There's a lot of retired vets that work at that museum, or I don't think they work there. They volunteer there, and some of them still fly. And during Memorial Day, they had a show, and it was cool. They had they did a, I don't know what to call it. I call it an airplane show, but I'm sure there's a real technical term for it. But he's in love with planes. He's in love with them. He knows every single plane, whether it's a Boeing or an Airbus or the jets and stuff like that. So he certainly has an affinity for being a pilot, I think. And let's see, where is that? You live there too? Okay, cool. Oh, in Florida. All right, cool. The oldest Spanish settlement in Florida. Hey, this looks cool, dude. It's like a strip of. Is it here? It's near. I mean, Florida's all beach, really. So I never heard of this. I'm sure there's like the hotel areas, but pretty cool. Wow. I'll look at that later, but I've never been to Florida. see. This is not a good playlist. That you like, unfortunately, because they should be thousands, 12 like viewers every day, and you. Ooh, I know that two of you guys are from the same place. That's crazy. That is pretty small. I mean, given like the vast demographic of people that we've seen here, it's pretty funny. It's because I mean, you got people from Amsterdam, Germany, UK, Hong Kong. I don't know if Fung Fung's here today. It's just like they're all spread across the globe, so pretty interesting that it'd be two next door. It's incredible because it's not a big place. Oh, okay. I looked it up. It seemed like it's just like a very pretty strip of land in between. It seems like I didn't look at the map at the end of Florida or somewhere in the peninsula. Let me look at a map. It's beautiful. It looks like it, definitely. I've never been, so pretty interesting when you have people like that live in places. I've never looked into Florida for one, so the only areas that I was familiar with was, of course, the most common stuff like Orlando and stuff, which I've never been to anywhere in Florida yet. Hey, there's an airport right there in the freaking city. How cool. Oh, there's a National Naval Aviation Museum. The best beaches ever? Okay, cool. Let's look at the volume profile here. I gotta do a composite of these three. Cool. Seems like they're looking to hold this composite here. We're at the low end of the composite. Point of control is right where value low is. This is good stuff. Might be a continuation. We live in San Diego too. Oh, I love San Diego. Familiar with Palm Springs? My buddy is at the waste hauling company that serves you. Oh, no way. Wow, small world, huh? That's so funny. more. Let's see, where's the S&P? Nasdaq's still holding view up. I'll add a couple more here. That's gonna be the last ad there. I'll keep it to that right there. And then we'll be at right at view up on this. All right, I think this will wrap it up for me. If this stops me out, we tried the reclaim of the value area. If this continues, great. We'll scale just below the IB high. Days like today, they sometimes will not break the IB high right away. Sometimes they break near the end of the day, and I would rather just reduce exposure before then if that ends up happening in that manner. Up in the sky. Up in the sky. If forwards, we said sail. There's definitely sellers at 420. We compared. So is pouch. I got a job. For the owner builder, you have to have the land already, right? And then the bank will finance the construction loan and you get like a bridge loan. How does that work? Cash up front? Oh, okay, cool. The how do you find vendors for those kind of projects? Yeah, you're basically the GC because you're putting together all the workload. But how do you find the individual, like the framers, roofers, plumbing, electrical? You kind of do you have references already? Because I just find it difficult to always have good vendors when it comes to trades like that. It's hard. How do you kind of like how do you filter them out, I guess? What's the process? I guess you could go to other sites where they're already building homes. Maybe go off there. Just kind of go off of where they're building homes and kind of scope out. We went to lumberyard for farmer. For framer? Oh, makes sense. We bought lots and then financed it over ourselves. Nice. That's a big square footage, 4,300. At the left. Do you find the right people? Yeah, I figure you'd be very selective, right? When it comes to something like that. This is your home they're building. It's not just like a repair or anything. And then you start to figure out why GCs make their spread, right? Once you kind of start doing the building the team and sites and locking in the schedules and material needed, then you start to kind of be like, oh, that's why GCs get paid. I went to build sites and looked for them. That's what I was saying. Like if you go to build sites where they're already building, maybe that's a good reference area if they're building a decent construction home. You know, if it looks like something the scope of what you're looking for. A lot of experience with rental homes. Okay, cool. You see their work and you see, yeah, you're firing the ones that don't work out. Yeah, that's. I figured that's probably the best way to vet, right? Is to actually see the scope of work that they're doing and see if it aligns with the quality of craftsmanship you're looking for. A lot of experience with rental homes. Yeah. Yeah, this thing keeps stalling here. I'm looking to see if it can kind of get a push, but NQ is kind of lagging here. We've done a lot of work, but nothing dangerous anymore. It's a game for people your age, right? Yeah. Time is it? 8:00. Yeah, Euro closed in like 20 something minutes. They're the market makers. Yeah, exactly. Pretty much, right? Seems like they can't really hold the value area so far. The pushes up, they kind of taper off above the 20s. Might want to have to come. They might need to come down to. They might need to come down to the VWAP. There's a couple below. There's a full session VWAP, and there's the RTH VWAP. You should get yourself rentals, Rick. This is how I started. I made money way back in the market. And I actually do own rental properties. I definitely do own rental properties. That's actually my my career is in the rental residential rental market. And then I own rental properties with my wife as well. We own a few, not too many. But I agree. We started about 6 years ago. Literally, our first purchase was during the pandemic. It was during the pandemic when rates were like, I think 2.75, 2.85. So I agree. So I deal with vendors all the time, so I know that they're not all the best. Some of them are okay. I've kind of had to filter through a lot of them through the years. Oh, 30% of the cost? Well, hell yeah. I mean, that's, I mean, you get some insane spread. Yeah, I mean, never built a home. I mean, let's just be clear. I just bought homes that were already built and just like fix them and then rent them. I've never had to do the process of actual build your build. Not that extensive, just minor repairs and stuff. Cosmetic stuff. But that spread is insane. 30% of the build. Wild. Quite the premium. Shit. I would assume it was going to be based on the scale of the project, not really like the overall cost of the net cost. You know, like something more, if you're doing like a plain track home, maybe a little less, right? And things are pretty standard. And as you get more more specific with the layout and floor plan, like maybe the spread, you know, widens. But I thought that if they did like a track home, something plug and play, pretty standard, it'd be cheap, like a lower spread, right? But I guess not. Industry's interesting. Because they love it. See your ass squirm like a worm. So we added, this is as much exposure as I want to add here on this trend continuation phase. I'm never one to rebuild a whole position on a trend continuation phase. It's always going to be a smaller size position than the original. So from last night into today, this morning, I had this morning 8 lots. Last night I had a total, I think about like 12. So average of 20 lots coming from average 375 to 367 were my fills, or 380 to 367 were my fills between those 20 lots. We scaled them out already, and then we're just adding back 6 total. I added 4, so I added about a quarter or so of the position back as we held here at the value area. And now we see if we can get a continuation leg into the IBI. They keep fading the mid-20s. This is like the third time this happens. Track homes are less. Okay, I figured that track homes should be less. I don't know if that's how they went about it. The NQ is not looking too pretty though, I will say. It looks, it's way weaker than the S&P. The Dow's holding well. NQ is okay. It looks like it wants to sag. Not too happy about that. Those houses are cheap though, you wouldn't want them. Yeah. Maybe to rent. I get what you mean. Craftsmanship quality. There's the NQ is tapping into that VWAP area. See if it's gonna hold or not. Again, this is the weaker one, the S&P. See if it holds or fades. This has kind of been the theme for the Nasdaq. It's been the weaker one of the three, the YM, S&P, and Nasdaq. It has not been able to hold a lot of reclaims. It seems to fail at all reclaims. It's able to put in failed breakdowns, but it's not able to hold trend continuation trades or reclaims of levels. We'll see if today's any shift in that regime, but right now it seems like it's gonna probe below VWAP and revisit somewhere near the open. Hey, what's up, man? This is hey Rick, nice to join you. Tune in, follow you on Stack. All right, let's go. Substack for the win, bro. It's the second person today. Thanks for reading the Substack. Appreciate it. Do you also trade the S&P as well, I assume, or something else you trade? Burm, 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 burm. Alright, here's Boa. Let's see NQ bounce, bro. There's been no movement on it so far. Ooh. That love's so classic. Ah, there's the NQ, still probing below. I think it's been a piece of trash as it relates to bull for bulls. The Nasdaq has just been unable to hold levels, man. It is trash, or as the kids say, it's chopped. That shit's chopped, bro. Married at 50. NQ and sometimes RTY. Also chart user. Hey, let's go, man. Sierra chart user. We don't have a lot of those. I've done a few polls here on the stream, and most people use TradingView, which I mean, you know, I don't really like TradingView. TradingView, and I think the other one was Tradewrick, which I mean, I assume that's because the prop firms provide it. I don't know. But let's go. Substack. Sorry, Sierra. Sierra's definitely a great platform. RTY. So why the Russell? That's interesting. So what do you like about the Russell? I've never had I've never traded the Russell, so I have no opinion. Just curious, like, why the Russell? It seems because you're trading the Russell and the Nasdaq. They're both, I would say, volatile. A little more volatile than the S&P. You the worst. Hey man, they brought it up 20s again. That was fast. Holy cow. Oh, the NQ recovered quickly. Shoot, it bounced off the VWAP. I didn't even see that. I looked away for a second. It's changing the music on my phone. This is what I wanted to see, is NQ hold VWAP. I thought it was going to fade out. See if it holds. If it holds, they'll definitely tag me here at the 20s or 29, 33 area for a scale out. Eat up. Eat up. You too wild, you too wild, you too wild, you too wild. Love you. Come on, NQ. Come on, brother. Get us moving here. Sometimes I find the pullback on R2A easier to spot. Okay, specifically when it's single prints at open, jumping back into IBH. Oh, okay. So does it leave a lot more single prints? I'm assuming it would leave more single prints since it is a little bit of more of a thinner asset, right? From tick to tick. So that makes sense. I like that. It's good. Easy to spot momentum, maybe. I don't have any history with the Russell, so I don't know. I just know that it's doesn't have as much volume traded as the S&P. And do you compress the DOM, or do you compress your Russell, or is it you have all values shown? Because for example, when I have the NASDAQ DOM up, I compress it. I do a tick compression on the NASDAQ, 4 ticks. Because otherwise the DOM goes like this. And I can't really look at the DOM like that. You know, in some instances too, when thing volatility gets pretty high, it's actually even better to compress your DOM on the S&P if you do trade the S&P and look at a DOM. When it gets pretty volatile out there, it's not a bad idea to compress it by about 4 to 8 ticks, depending on volatility. Another failed move up, bro. That's annoying. The Russell's ready to go. It's just the NASDAQ that's holding us back. Who knows if it's going to pull or not. ES, MES with Denali feed. Let's go. Another Sierra chart user. All right. Cool, man. Let's go. Oh, okay, cool. So yeah, I mean, I don't. Well, good answer. I appreciate you being so specific there. So you use the volume profile, which makes sense for the single TPO, which makes sense for the single prints. The volume profile, that's good. And the delta map from order flow labs. Oh, cool. Pretty neat. I don't know what that is, the delta map. I'll have to look at that, but I'm gonna bring it down here to 26s, just scale some, because honestly I'm kind of sketched out by these little multiple probes into this high with no freaking continuation. I don't like this. I like to see the trend continue and then be favored, even if it's only a few points at a time, but they keep stopping right at the same spot. At the what, like 28s, somewhere around there. So I scaled some there. I have 3 lots total. I will scale more if we can manage to push into the IB here. So I'll be a little more patient with the rest of the scale here at 33. It seems like this time around it's holding. Figure I scaled out and it's actually holding this time. But I do want to target the IB statistically. Again, that target hits every about 78% of the time on any given session. There's a 78%. There is always a 78% probability of the S&P breaking the IB high or IB low on any given session. So I'm always looking for that continuation into that when we've established a trend for the day. So there we go. Scaled out 2. I still have 2. Oh my. Let's get one more. Why not? I just want to get down to 1 lot and just call it. Cool. Well, there you go, guys. That's it. I'm done. We're done here. We had good entries overnight. We had another solid 2 adds here at the open. And then we scaled, added, scaled. Like yesterday. Just like yesterday. So we had a good entry yesterday. We scaled at the 9. We entered 400s. Scaled into... I think 420, 438, added more at 450, scaled at 64, and then 72, and the runner trailed out at the end of the day, or near when I left the stream. And then today we're doing the same thing. We found the failed breakdown pre-market, even overnight. I was long overnight at 60s, right here at 60s, and then we added more at the open. We scaled again, same layout as yesterday. Only difference is different prices. So I'll just trail the runner here at this point. I have 1 lot. Let me put it on the DOM here. We're going to leave it at VWAP for now and trail behind it. The average fill right now on the ads is 417 on the ads that I had. Cool. Well, there she blows. So, and we'll review the stats here too as well, because here's another interesting stat. Now, I don't know if this one's going to tag today because that's a pretty extreme move, but I wouldn't be surprised because it's so early in the session and we're so close to it already. Let me show you what I mean. So over the last 2 years, the data suggests, and then I have another one for another 4 years. 6 years of data suggests that there is a overnight high or low touch. There's a 90% probability that we touch the overnight high or low on any given session. Where's the overnight low? And then from years 21 to 24, there's a 95% chance. So there's a high chance we trade the overnight high, which is where I will target, and that is the 54 area on the S&P. The one that I was just referencing was the IB stat, and then the IB stat is here. On any given session, at least one IB broke, initial balance. 90% probability. From the last 2 years, there is a 78% probability, so it's reduced a lot in the last 2 years. There, it just hit IB high right now. We just tagged it. So I always like that, trade in favor of that stat and targeting that stat as a trend continuation trade, similar to yesterday and today. The next target up is the overnight high, which is right here at 52, I think. 54. So that will be my final target for this trade if it trends. Given what happened today and how we broke down yesterday, bigger picture, we have a massive failed breakdown set up. So this is very bullish into next week. Super bullish. You have no idea. We're about to rip some assholes. We're about to rip some assholes into next week on some shorts, probably. Like, if we can just hold at minimum the 406 next week, at minimum, even if we probe below it, reclaim, whatever, 406, 410, we're coming right into that monthly point of control here at the 90s. Right around here, 79, so the 80s, and then holding above 80s, then we can cut back into this value area, 30s through 50s. So level to level, but for now, minimum hold at 400 area into the end of the week. Today's Friday, and then next week hold into that area again if we do pre-visit. That's kind of the thesis overall right now. As long as we hold 400, 410 into this week and Monday, the next zone up, 480. We hold 480s, 525, 550. So on and so forth. 550s hold, 596. So, I am done for the day. I will hold this one trade and trail it. I hope that this stream was educational or useful in any way. Or at least entertaining. I'm gonna bounce, you guys. Actually, I'll stay a little bit. I have time. It's still early. I don't have nothing else to do. But I appreciate you guys being here. Makes trading a lot more fun when there's people interacting or engaging. I appreciate the questions or chat. I feel like this guy's a hater. Overnight high, let's see. Overnight high is 54? Yeah, 54. That's where we'll target here. It's coming right into that level. The stream is epic. Alright, let's go. See if it hits the overnight high here. We did not trade the overnight low, so we're likely to see the overnight high. Rick, I still... Well, that's good, man. You don't really need the volume profile, to be honest. Like, I wouldn't say it's a necessity. The levels are just more than fine. I mean, we're all gonna come to the same conclusion at some point, you know? Volume profile is like a way to interpret data. But it's by no means gonna give you an edge more than a price level would, I would say. There's small intricacies, like it just gives context. That's it. Profiles give you a lot of good context. It's a very objective context that you can derive from volume profiles or time profiles. So it's contextual data, not necessary. Do. Oh man, yeah. One thing I would love for you to cover Sunday is what exactly recapture looks like to you. I know it depends, but it would help me start growth. Like the reclaim, you mean? Like a reclaim of levels? So like today was a good example of that, right? On a higher time frame. Like I think they're easier to spot in a higher time frame than they are in a higher time frame than they are a smaller time frame. So today it's very simple. It's right in front of the screen right now, and it's the reason I wanted to add it to the trade. It's just the reclaim of the value area low or the support from yesterday's trading session, which also ended up being the value area low, which is that purple level right there. It's just like hidden behind a bunch of little lines. Let me erase all this. So it's a CVAL, currently value area low. So it's just simple, like the reclaim essentially is this here. This is a reclaim on a higher time frame. It looks a lot cleaner on a higher time frame. Right, this is not a failed breakdown, but rather a reclaim, because structurally it broke down. This was support, it broke down. Sorry, I should probably draw it like this. It broke down, and then it came back above and held as support before it went higher. That's a reclaim, right? A failed breakdown is exactly this. You get a probe below it. Yeah, so a reclaim consolidates first before it expands. So that's the first thing to consider. You have to know is that a reclaim takes longer to resolve to the upside, while a failed breakdown is a little bit more of a quick reversal. So it's they're two different things in the way that they react and they trade fundamentally. A failed breakdown will like bounce, hit the prior breakdown area, and then even come back to revisit for a second entry in case you missed the first one. A reclaim will break down and then come back. Yes, it'll squeeze on the initial reclaim, but then it'll just consolidate after, and then it'll go again. So it takes longer to resolve. A failed breakdown probes and then rejects, comes higher, and then then after it revisits and holds again. How you avoid getting in early? I think the biggest thing that I reference a lot of the time, it really is gonna this is the other difficult part. This is the other difficult part, is that it's all contextual based on the time frame we're trading the reclaim on. More often than not, I'm always gonna say, like yesterday and today, two same overlaps. where is VWAP relative to my entry? You know, like where is VWAP relative to my entry? And then if it's too far away, I guess that, and then also like where is my invalidation, right? The second question is always like, where is my invalidation? If the invalidation for the reclaim is not apparent, then I have to wait for the entry, right? So sometimes I'll just ease into the trade. Like you saw me here today, I wasn't too sure, right? I wasn't confident, so I took a small entry and then I added more after I saw more hold. As at the same time, the VWAP was getting closer to the structure. So that means my stop loss, I could raise it a little bit based on that VWAP catching up to price. Wait a minute, why did I get flipped to short? What the heck? Okay, there you go. So that's it. Boom, we're all done. We hit the overnight high. That was the target here on the runner. We're all done. The entry was a failed breakdown. I told everyone on Substack, I put it in the chat on Substack yesterday. The entry was a failed breakdown, and I said this morning when you asked me, it was a failed breakdown of this area right here. This 4-hour low. Right? The 4-hour low from 6, I think it's 611. Because we had a... We zoom into the price action here. We had a consolidation right at 66. We then flushed, and this is the failed breakdown. Look at that. That structurally is a failed breakdown. It is not a reclaim. So it's taking out a higher time frame low, flushing, reclaiming, and then squeezing, and then it became support. So that was a failed breakdown. I predicted yesterday. So market wants their stops naturally. Market just search for liquidity. Look, the thing about looking for liquidity, I don't know. I personally have a different review on it. I think that this wasn't that simple to say it was liquidity grab. I think it was a bunch of people getting margin called that created this sell-off. Once that selling pressure was gone, all that's left is the buy side that's been here for months. So I think what happened was we sold off on margin calls last night. So because like why are we selling off overnight and not during the regular trading hours? Because overnight is when probably the Korean market's open and they're getting margin called from the South Korea stock market volatility. That volatility is creating, because they had a 10% dip yesterday, I think, and another one a few days prior. That volatility is creating margin pressure. And that's why we're selling off during the overnight session, like Monday and today, and not during regular trading hours, because that selling pressure does not exist for New York time, only overnight time when those markets are open. South Korea is open when our market's closed. So I don't think it's that simple to say it's a liquidity grab or whatever. I think it's a little more macro in this instance. We can still run higher. I mean, we can go... NQ has not hit the overnight high. We can still rally further. I'm all done though. I got take profit finally hit there at the here at the overnight high. Again, it was a statistical probability target. It hit, and then now we just let this thing do its thing. Into Monday, it's pretty simple now. All we have to do is just hold today's value or low. Into Monday now, because today's Friday, into Monday, it's very simple. Just hold this area. For me, the bear auction doesn't start anymore until below this area. All the way down here. And this is the bullish hold here. This becomes the bullish hold area. This becomes a bullish reclaim, or let's just say a breakout, actually. BO. Of the balance, right? The 3-day balance. We break out of this. Then we can come back and retest all this. So now at minimum next week, all I want to see is bulls just hold this area right here on dips. Hold. If they don't revisit, then the next assumption is just have them break out and hold, and that's the next long above this area, which is like 60s. Yeah, I'll post it on the newsletter this weekend, more or less, the lean and everything, into depending on how we close today, but I'm pretty much already kind of understand what we're looking for, or what I'm looking for come Monday. So if you guys are going into the markets and like you just don't know what the fuck's going on and you're just like shooting from the hip and hoping to make money, just like stop being a retard and just read the newsletter. Like I try to give the blueprint of like the levels I'm watching. You're doing yourself a disservice if you come in here and you're just like buy or sell. Like you might as well just go to the slot machine and sit there instead. Yeah, at least you'll feel like you have less control over what happens, and you won't feel as bad for taking a bad trade. Anyway, I'm gonna call it a day, guys. I appreciate you guys being here. I'll be back on Monday. Hope you guys all have a wonderful weekend. This week has been exceptional for trading, thankfully, but yeah, I'll see you, Mr. AI, Jim, anyone else who was here today, chatted up. Thanks, Zaid. I think it was Zaid, gentlemen. Have a good weekend, guys.